Life has many stories. Here's one that might just change how you see yours. I remember watching my little sister, Priska, learn to walk. She'd fall, hard and often. Sometimes she'd cry, sometimes she'd just blink in surprise, but not once did she ever decide to stop trying. The very next minute, she'd be on her feet again, arms flailing for balance, determined as ever. It was wild to watch how failure never discouraged her. She simply believed walking was hers to master until that eventually came true. How many times have you tried to do something over and over again, only to fail again and again? Maybe it was learning a new skill. Maybe it was solving that one math problem that made you question your intelligence. Or maybe you just couldn't get that job you kept applying for. It could be love, it could be friendship, it could even be trying to find peace of mind. The truth is, we've all been there. Each of us, in one way or another, has stared at the wall of impossibility, wondering if we were ever going to break through. And then, one day it happens. Maybe you finally figure it out. You pass the test, you land the job, you get the relationship, you make the money, you finally feel confident. And people start asking you, how did you do it? And you pause, because you're not even sure what the turning point was. You know you struggled. You know you worked hard. You know you failed a lot. But what really flipped the switch? This is a story about that switch. There's a verse in Philippians 4 verse 13 that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It's one of the most quoted scriptures in Christian circles. You'll find in bios, on t-shirts, as wall art, even as a caption under a gym selfie. But let me ask, do we really understand what that scripture means? Because when I was younger, I didn't. I saw it as this magical badge of confidence, a kind of superhero mantra, something that made you invincible, if only you could just believe enough. But real life has a funny way of showing you that belief, on its own, is not always enough. You see, back in high school, I didn't like mathematics. I wasn't terrible at it, but I didn't enjoy it. Unlike my reading subjects, where I could binge read for a day and go ace an exam, math demanded consistent attention, daily practice, repetition, patience, and honestly, I didn't want to give it that. Ironically, in the same class was this guy who solved mathematics without breaking a sweat, but struggled with reading subjects. So, I settled for a narrative that many of us have used at some point. We all have different strengths. Some are just better at numbers. I'm better with words. We can't all be good at everything. Sounds reasonable, right? And to some extent, it's true. But looking back, I now realize that I used that logic as a shortcut, a way to avoid the discomfort of growth. I mean, isn't that what we always do? Anytime something challenges us, be it a new skill, a complex idea, or even a difficult conversation, we pull back. We tell ourselves we're not built for it, or that maybe it's just not our thing. But often, that's just fear dressing itself up as preference. We'd rather stay where it's safe than stumble through the stretch it takes to learn and grow. So what changed my mind? Surprisingly, it wasn't a sermon or some academic success. It was a song, a trap song, one that somehow made its way into my head while I was bathing. Now, I'm not a trap music fan. I'm more of a pop guy, Ed Sheeran, Ariana Grande, Sam Smith, that kind of vibe. But here I was, humming along to a trap song, and not just any trap song, but one by an artist I never rated. Let me be honest. This artist, in my opinion, didn't have a strong voice, wasn't particularly lyrical, and usually made songs I'd skip without guilt. Yet here I was, nodding my head to this hit. How? Why? That's when it hit me. This guy had figured something out. He may not be the best singer. He may not even write the most meaningful lyrics. But somehow, he had created a song that people like me, who normally wouldn't give him a chance, were enjoying. That's when the light bulb went off. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is the magic trick. It's the difference between frustration and freedom. This artist may not have done everything himself. Maybe he didn't write the song. Maybe his voice was auto-tuned. Maybe he just knew the right producer to work with or the perfect beat to ride. But the point is, he knew what to bring in and how to package it. And that's when I realized how wrong my old high school mindset had been. I thought being able to do something meant having all the ability inside you from the start. I believed knowing something meant you had to understand every part of it on your own. Like in the case of the artiste, I believed he should know how to write his own songs and at least have a good voice to sing what he writes. I mean, these for me was just the bare minimum. But I've grown enough now to say, that's nonsense. Real capability isn't about being all-knowing or all-talented. It's about knowing where to look, who to ask, and how to bring pieces together to make something whole. Why write if you find it challenging when someone out there could do that for you without breaking a sweat? Why struggle to fit in when you could simply stand out? Take me, for example. I write scripts for YouTube channels. I send them out, I get paid, and someone else adds a voiceover, some visuals, and publishes the final product. If that channel becomes successful, nobody will ask, did he do all the voice work himself? What matters is that the end result works, and it all started with my contribution, my part. You don't have to know everything. You just need to know enough to start. Now back to Philippians 4 verse 13. Maybe Christ strengthening you isn't only about lifting your spirits or increasing your faith. Maybe it's also about giving you wisdom, because wisdom is a kind of strength, mental, emotional, even spiritual. And that verse makes more sense now. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Yes, because he gives me knowledge that connects me to meet people, knowledge that leads me to the right tools. I don't have to know everything. I just have to know enough. So, can you do it? Yes. You can learn the math. You can master the skill. You can build the business. You can rise from that failure. You can even change your personality if you have to. You just need to figure out what to learn, who to learn from, and how to apply what you've learned. That's the recipe. If you've always believed you can do it, but never really understood how, I hope today made things clearer. Because the truth is, you really can do anything. You just need the knowledge to flip the script. Sometimes, all it takes is a shift in how you see things. The right knowledge, the right nudge, and suddenly, what once felt impossible begins to move. You don't need to know it all, just where to start. You don't need to be perfect, just willing. Because yes, you really can do anything.